going on, everyone? Gilman with Lavolti back with our daily Apple update video where we take a look at how Apple stock traded today, some key support and resistance levels that we've looked at in the past couple of days and how those are holding up, and then what the future for the Apple stock could look like. So real quick, if you enjoyed these, hit the subscribe button. I try to do these videos on a daily basis and keep you guys updated on what's going on with Apple stock. So really appreciate all your help on the likes and subscribes, and comment down below if there's anything you think of Apple or if there's anything that you'd like to share with recent trades you've taken. I always love hearing about those. So let's get right into it. Let me hit the one-day chart for us, and what we see is good day overall for Apple, up $1.53, which is 1.32%. And then comparing that to the indexes like we do, NASDAQ was only up 0.33%, Dow was up about 98 points or 0.35%, and S&P was up 0.38%. So in the 0.3% throughout, but Apple was up a whole percentage above that, about 100 basis points above that. So that's definitely a good relative strong sign. Now, one thing that I do kind of want to share is, the whole market today kind of ran on stimulus hopes. We went up when there was talks of, potentially getting closer to a deal, and then down when we talked about, oh, actually, we're not really moving closer. As I've talked over the past, not only days, but probably weeks at this point, a lot of what's happening right now is very dependent on the stimulus bill. If we get a stimulus bill, right, or we see positive news about the stimulus bill, it pushes everything up. And if we get a bad sign, there's a sell-off or uncertainty surrounding that. So just be mindful of that. Similarly with Apple, right, we dipped, we rose above VWAP, came back below VWAP, played around with the VWAP, and then here we were doing well, and then I think at this point is when we kind of heard, hey, we could be pushing towards a stimulus. Pushed up, almost hit 119, didn't quite make it there, and then we saw some profit taking or sell-off, and then kind of here is where we saw the I think the news came out that we maybe aren't moving closer to a stimulus deal potentially, and then that sort of pushed the stock down just a little bit. So let me take a look at some of the key indicators that we have, and then we can kind of see what the future for the stock could look like. So on the daily chart, right, you guys know I love looking at my EMAs, and scrolling in, what we see is that the 8 EMA comes in at 118.22, which I love seeing, Apple riding the 8 EMA, which means it's kind of going above and below that, but kind of respecting that line, and that line serves as like a magnet that it goes towards. Clearly, we haven't seen that here in the past couple of days, but 3 days ago it held up as good resistance, so it is definitely something to keep in mind. And then the 21 EMA kind of is in the middle right now. It is at 116.98, and then the 34 EMA is at 115.86. Now, if I zoom in a little bit more, what we see is, this line right here is a 34 EMA at 115.86 today, and yesterday was 115.76. And if we look, the bottom of these candles, right, they're basically barely below that line, which means that it's held up as good resistance, which is definitely a good sign to see, right? So if we take a look here, the low will be right there, and then the 34 EMA will be right there. So the low is 115.66, and the 34 EMA is at 115.76, so we went 10 cents below that. And then today the low was 115.63, and 34 EMA was 115.86, so it went about 23 cents below that, but it kind of respected that EMA, which is something great. So all that to say, I think we have good support in the 34 EMA in the high 115s, and then if we were to break that, then we've talked about this 113 support level, that if I just kind of scroll out, we can see it's held up a lot, going back all the way into September. The bottom wicks, some of these candles, end of September as well, we sort of held that 113 level. We've dipped below it, but then we come right back above it. So good support in the 34 EMA, high 115s, good support in the 113. Pushing up, what we can see is, one thing that let me get rid of my indicators real quick and kind of show you guys. So last week is when we had that huge gap up, right? We had the huge gap up with the iPhone event, this gap up, run up, and we've kind of seen a little bit of a sell-off, right? We've seen a lot of red days. We saw a little bit of a green day today, but just to kind of show you guys that, you know, overall, we could see this on the daily chart as well, but that we've sort of been on a downtrend. Now, we were making higher highs, higher lows for a while, and then we had a period of consolidation. And then after that, we pushed up, right? We pushed up, had this great green day, but since then, you know, if I were to take, I mean, just like a general drawing and kind of draw it downwards, right? We see that we are not necessarily, I'm not going to say we're making lower lows, because we're not, right? Between yesterday and today, the low was, I mean, down by 3 cents, but, you know, taking a look at 2 days before that, it wasn't really a lower low. But we are making lower highs, and that's something that's sort of been not consistent with Thursday to Friday, but I mean, in the general trend, we are making lower highs. So that's something to keep in mind, look out for. Initially, I thought Apple was doing a great job of holding 120, and then from the 125, we were kind of forming a bull flag. But clearly in the last couple of days, that's been broken as well. So, you know, keep an eye out if that starts forming again. But for the time being, you know, it's kind of hard to really like figure out what Apple wants to do, right? It's ran up, it's come down, but a lot of that has been based on stimulus. Like, so much right now is based on stimulus. And one thing that I do want to point out is, this article came out that the Dems in White House are moving closer to a stimulus deal, and then Pelosi, who had originally given a Tuesday deadline, kind of downplayed that today. So throughout the course of today, right, markets were kind of trading based on the fact that we have to get a deal done today or it's off the table. Now she's sort of downplaying that, which it's kind of good because there's hopes for a stimulus bill, but bad because the anticipation of whether or not it's going to happen. Because if it doesn't happen, right, it's a potential sell-off, a hit, and then we kind of move on from that. But the fact that it's sort of lingering, right, means that news can come at any second. And if it's good news, we can rally. If it's bad news, then we sell off. But it's just really hard to play or plan around that, right? Because you could look at all the technicals, but if you get one bad news or one good news, right, you could send everything kind of away, whether you're long on short or on a stock. So something to keep in mind, if we were to push up, right, we do have some resistance coming up in the highs set for today, which we weren't able to break in the 119s. And then if we take a look at some of the indicators here, right, the 20-day moving average. Let me zoom in real quick. We've got the 50-day moving average at 117.22, can hold the support, and then the 20-day moving average at 115.94, which, similar to the 34 EMA, has held up as good support over the past 2 days. So the 20-day moving average and the 34 EMA are great support points in my opinion, and then the 113, and then if we move up, the highs for today, which is in the high 118s, would be the first point to knock out before we get to that 120 mark. But yeah, that's all I really had. Actually, let me share a few trades that I took on / took off with you guys. So let me just transfer them from my phone. So this was one of them. I think I've shared this with you guys before. It's the 121.116 put spread that I got $2 for. It's currently trading at $2.36, so I'm down about $36. I have until this Friday. If Apple is at or below 119, which it kind of made close to today, then I even out on the trade, and anything above that I have a potential to profit. And then for this credit here, I'm also down $43. This is the same put spread as 1023, but I have until 1013, so I can, you know, I do have that sort of time to really potentially get out of that trade. And then one other one that I kind of want to share with you guys, actually two other ones real quick, because I was able to take these on for quick flips. The first one being, so those are my two losses. Again, I've said it over and over again. I will share my wins with you guys and also my losses. I'm down $36 and $43. I'm taking very light positions, as I've talked about, because I don't want to risk a lot of money, because all the stimulus bill has nothing to do with technicals and all to do with politics, and you can never predict politics in my opinion. But these are my two sort of winning trades. So if we were to take a look here, right, lost $36 here, had this call that I ended up selling for a little bit more than 10%, but as of a little bit after noon, I was up 10% on it. So, you know, those two kind of cancel out. And then this is another put spread that I took on yesterday for $1.89, and then when Apple was trading closer to 116s, and then as it rose to 118s, I had two of these, sold one of them. I'm up $98 on the other one, so still have that put spread. That also expires this Friday. So if Apple is at or above 115.11 by this Friday or anytime before that, right, I could sell it for a profit. But you know, these two, or excuse me, this one I have until November. This open position that I have, that I need Apple to be 121 for max profit and 119 for break even, is a position that I'm looking to manage. If Apple does push up, then I'll be looking to get out of that. If it doesn't, then I'll probably have to cut it loose and take that loss. But yeah, sure, two trades that I'm currently losing on, and two trades that I have won on and continue to hold one of them, just to show you guys that, you know, hey, a lot of things can move with you and against you. The key thing is to set your goals and kind of stick to them, take some profit along the way. This position here, I had two contracts that I took on yesterday. One I was able to sell for a $70 profit today. The other I'm holding and it's at 98. Or was at 98 earlier today. It's probably fallen a little bit since, but just to show you guys that stick to your plans, and you know, you're gonna have good wins, you're gonna have some not good losses, but the key is to just try to stay green, win more than you lose, and you'll be good. So that's all I had for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, drop a like, subscribe to my channel, and comment down below if there's anything you want to share regarding Apple stock or what your opinion is on the future. Or share your trades down below as well. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys down there, but hope to be a bit better every single day, and until next time.